This is Jarrod Horak for the runawayhorse.com. Welcome to my latest handicapping video. Now I'm on a full card break right now. Santa Anita just ended their spring meet. Los Alamitos is running right now. And then when Del Mar starts their summer meet on July 22nd, my full cards will resume. So if you're interested in any of those full cards from Del Mar, you will be able to find those this summer at the runawayhorse.com on my sales page. You can purchase the entire meet. I have weekly and weekend packages and then individual full cards as well. All the information is available at the runawayhorse.com on my sales page. You can find some free stakes selections in the meantime from Belmont Park on my New York page. On the California page, some free stakes selections from Los Alamitos. You can find those at the runawayhorse.com on those pages. And then at horseracingnation.com, I have a daily best bets blog where I post a free selection each day from across the country. You can find that Horse Racing Nation Best Bets blog on the homepage at horseracingnation.com in the handicapping section. So in this video, now that I'm on my full card break, I'm going to go through, because I have clients that have been asking questions about how to handle and what to do on big days like Kentucky Derby Day, Preakness, Belmont Day. So there's Triple Crown full card days, the two Breeders' Cup days, days like the Travers where they have those big full cards with a lot of stakes races. So I always get questions how to wager, how to approach days like that. So I'm going to go through in this video and I'm going to give some strategies on how to attack the big days in horse racing. Now the first thing you want to do is the bankroll. You need to decide how much money you want to spend on those particular days. You never want to bet the rent money, so it's definitely money that you can afford to lose, and you want to decide how much money you want to bet on those particular cards. So that's step one. You want to decide how much. So let's say you're betting 200. So you want to stick to that amount. You don't want to go over that, and there's a chance that you may not bet that much as well because you have to go through the card and see and look for value. So the second thing you want to do is make a plan. So you're going to go through and you're going to handicap the card, and you're going to form some opinions in some of the races. So that's step one in making a plan. And then after that, you're going to go through and you're going to look at the wagering menu and the options they have available. Now that can be overwhelming because there are so many options that they offer you. You know, win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta, super high five, double, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, pick 6. There's just so many options on each of those cards. You just can't bet all of them. So you want to look at the wagering menu and then decide on that, what they're offering and which wagers that you're good at, and those are the wagers that you should stick to. And you want to find bettable races. So the next step that you want to do is look for races that are playable. You're going to look for value contenders. You don't want to play favorites in all of the races. So there's definitely going to be races on those big days that just aren't playable. They have shorter fields, standout favorites, and you just can't really make a lot of money on those. So you want to stay away from races like that. You want to look for the competitive races and the horses that you've identified as contenders. You want to look for those kind of races where there are better field sizes and the horses that you've identified are value contenders. After that, you want to play to your strengths. As I said a little bit earlier, when you're looking at the wagering menu, there could be a chance that you're good at daily doubles, and they have rolling daily doubles. Now you don't want to play all the daily doubles, but if you decide that you're good at doubles and you brought $200, you want to try to maximize your profits in those situations. You want to look for your value contenders in those daily doubles, and those are the ones you want to play. You don't want to play the ones where 4 races in a row the standout favorites are going to win. They're just not they're not good betting opportunities. So play to your strengths there. Look for the bets that you like to make and that you've had success in the past, and that's what you want to do. And then be flexible as well. So after you get to race day, you look at the scratches. You may see an opportunity where maybe a speed horse scratched and you thought there was going to be a speed duel, and now all of a sudden that horse is the lone speed and he's not the favorite. A situation like that. So you got to be flexible throughout the day, looking and seeing how the track is playing. If there's a speed bias going on, you want to be able to adjust your opinions. A hot jockey trainer team, they may start to win multiple races, and you see that jockey's just in a zone, or that trainer, and you might want to adjust your opinion if you had another opinion prior to that. So those are some of the things and the main things that you should do. And first off, we'll go back to bankroll now. Let's say that you decided that you're going to bring $200. Now, you don't want to play every race. That's something I tell people all the time. Some of my clients, they'll purchase my picks and they'll bet everything that I said to bet through like 3 races, and then they'll email me and say I haven't hit anything. And I try to email them and try to reassure them you don't want to play every race, and you definitely don't want to be playing favorites in those early races in short fields. Save your money for the best opportunities to make some money. That's your goal, is to make money. So if you have $200, I would suggest at least 60% of that you want to put aside, which would be $120 for your prime wagers. Those are the races that you went through. You think you have good value opportunities in those races. You've formed opinions and you've decided that there are certain horses on that card that you want to play, or a certain race. Like if it's Belmont Stakes Day and you want to play the Belmont Stakes, so you want to put at least 120 aside for that. And then you can use some of the other money throughout the day if some other opportunities pop up. And then also some play wagers are good too. Like if you want to play more races, a race bet like the Dime Superfecta is good. It can get you through the day. You can play a few Dime Superfectas. It's not going to cost you a lot of money. You can take a few stabs. Maybe you'll get lucky and hit 1 or 2 of those and make a few dollars. So that'll get you through the day. And then just wait for your prime opportunities, and that's where you're going to make most of your money. So we're going to go through that Belmont Stakes card just as an example. So if you purchased that Belmont Stakes card for me, or you handicapped it, and this is how you should really approach it. Now I'll throw my highlights up first to show how I did on Belmont Stakes Day. Now I had 4 top choice winners: Monterey, Regal Glory, Jack Christopher, Flightline. None of those horses were any real value. They were logical contenders, and they got the job done. So in those kind of situations, those horses just aren't good to wager, because you're just not going to make enough money. I gave out multiple doubles, pick 3s, and a couple pick 4s as well. Had a good Belmont Stakes outcome with the exacta with Mo Donegal and my value top choice Nest. That one paid $27.60. Had the trifecta for $3.75. The superfecta paid $13.84 there. Now all of these full card highlights are based on $2 wagers. That's just to keep the uniformity. So you can, obviously the win wagers are 2. So I just keep everything according to $2 just for uniformity purposes. And then I had that late pick 4 that paid over $700. So that was probably a good way to go as well. So on some of those wagers, you could see early on with the highlights that they didn't pay a lot. But then later in the card, you started to get some better payouts in some of those. So now we'll just go through that card. One of my best bets on the card was Win for Gold in race 1. He didn't win, but he was the favorite and there was no value there. So that just wasn't a good betting opportunity. I actually had a client or 2 email after the first few races, as I had said before. Second race, again, I picked the entry. They were the favorite. Not a good betting race there either. And the third race, Madureira, ended up winning as my top choice. Now, the reason that I liked her too is I didn't like Echo Zulu, and Echo Zulu was the favorite. She scratched in the post parade. That made Madureira the heavy favorite, and then that race really did become unplayable because the Madureira was basically a cinch after Echo Zulu was out. In the fourth race, I liked Regal Glory over Speak of the Devil. Speak of the Devil was the favorite, but there really wasn't a lot of value there. Now, they were offering pick 4 beginning with that race and a $3 all-turf pick 3. So those were playable wagers depending on what happened after that. Now, my next best bet was Warrant in the Brooklyn Stakes, and that one did offer value. It was 4-1. It was a playable race. Now, my wagering strategies didn't come in there, but Warrant was playable there at 4-1. Now, in the sixth race, Jack Christopher, again, this was almost like a slam dunk. He looked like he couldn't lose in the paper race. Did have the cold exacta there with Papa Cap, so you could have made a few dollars there. But again, not a great wagering opportunity. That did start the $1 pick 6, so that was a playable wager if you like playing pick 6s. Jumping ahead to the 7th race, now Malathot was my top choice there, and she did offer some value. I thought Latruska might be a bit vulnerable, even though she was the controlling speed, and Malathot ended up just missing there. Clairiere just got her on the line. That started a Grand Slam, and then a 50-cent pick 5 with a mandatory payout, which was a good bet too because of that mandatory payout. Now, in the next race, the Jaipur, that was a grade 1 turf sprint. Those turf sprints could be so competitive and so difficult. Now, Gear Jockey was my top choice, but I had many contenders in that race. It was a playable race, but those are the kind of races where they're just so competitive that when I was talking about having fun playing a 10-cent superfecta, that kind of race fits that mold. You probably want to do something like that in those races that are really tough to decipher and you have too many contenders. The race after that was the Met Mile, and Flightline just looked like a slam dunk in there. I had a cold exacta with Happy Saver, and that wasn't a bad wager just because Speaker's Corner was the second choice. He was the second most likely winner, but that didn't mean he was the second most likely horse to finish second. Happy Saver fit that mold, I thought, based on the race shape, and then that's how that ended up playing out. So that was playable. And then this was the last pick 5 on the day, and they had a Met Mile Belmont Stakes double, which really wasn't a great wager either because Flightline was such a heavy favorite in that first leg. And then after that, the grade 1 Manhattan, 1.25 miles on the turf. Again, this was a competitive race, not as competitive as the Jaipur, but this one was pretty competitive. Gufa was the favorite. I did pick him on top because I thought he was the most consistent horse and he had the best chance to finish in there. I had key him in first and second in the trifecta. Of course, he finished third, and Tribhuvan, the long shot winner, was one of my contenders there. And that started a late pick 4. And with a competitive race starting to pick 4 and a horse like Tribhuvan in my pick 4, that was certainly a wager to try to go for. Now, the race after that was the Belmont Stakes, and certainly that was a decent betting race because I wasn't that keen on Rich Strike, and I knew he would take money. Even We the People, I just thought that those two horses, they only had one good fast race in their lifetime, where you had horses like Nest and Mo Donegal with multiple strong races in the graded competition, and they just seemed classier than the others, and that's how it ended up playing out. So definitely the Belmont Stakes was a decent betting race that day, and I, for all of my wagering strategies, made a nice profit there, giving out the exacta, the trifecta, and the superfecta there. And then the 12th race was a maiden claiming 75,000. Floki's Flight was my top choice, and he ended up running a decent race there, finishing second. So I did have the trifecta in that one. So that was a playable race. And then finally, the last race of the day, I did have it as a best bet race. Fontana Frida was my top choice. Didn't actually run well, but my second choice ended up winning that one. And I was able to give out that late pick 4. So just going through the card, so you want to go through the card kind of just like I did. It's, of course, it's easier after the fact, but you want to go through and you want to form opinions in those races. And even you can mark best bets just like I did. But when it comes to race day and those horses just don't offer value, then don't play those races. So my suggestion, if whether you're purchasing my full card or you're playing days like this, is like I said, pick a bankroll, make a plan, handicap the card, and come up with your contenders. If you think that you have a horse you really like, mark that down as a possible best bet. Look at the wagering menu, play to your strengths. If you like playing pick 3s or pick 4s, go for those. But that doesn't mean you have to play every pick 4 they offer. You want to look through and you want to look to see if horses in that sequence can offer value, which will give you a chance to make money. Find those bettable races. The way that I like to play these big days, spot plays. You don't want to play every race. Just look for your opportunities, the races that are going to offer the most value and horses that you like. A race like the Belmont Stakes was a good betting race that day, and you could formulate a plan around that race. You don't want to waste a bunch of money early trying to build up a bankroll, and then you start chasing money. That's not a good plan. So you want to spot bet, and you want to look for the wagers that they're offering that you're good at and that you've had success with. So that's playing to your strength. And then, as I said, be flexible. Watch the card. Now, early on Belmont Stakes Day, it looked like there could be a speed bias going. But then the track played fair. The track maintenance crew got out there and they made the track much more fair as the day wore on. So that early speed bias did not stick around for the whole card. So those are some of the things to look for on those big days. And if you just have a good plan, if you're there, you say, I'm betting this much money, and I'm going to handicap the card, and I'm going to make my plan, and I'm going to stick with it. If you do that in the long run all the time, you're definitely going to make money. And as I said, for anyone who's purchasing my picks, just don't play every race that I offer. Those are just a guide to how to play the race. I'm handicapping these races 24 hours in advance and getting that information to you as quickly as I can. And every wagering strategy, that's not the way to play it. I try not to put bundles of wagering strategies on. I try to do a good job giving you an option, giving out exacta, trifecta, some superfectas. So if you're a player that likes those wagers, that will give you an idea of how to play the race. But you don't have to play it exactly as I say. For sure, you don't want to play every race each day. Pick your spots and look for value, and you're going to make money in the long run if you know what you're doing. You stick to your plans. So that will wrap up this video of how to handicap these big race days in the future. We're going to have, I'm going to be covering a lot of the, as I said, all the Del Mar full cards this year for the summer. And then I'm going to have a Travers Day. I'll do some stuff from Saratoga as well. And then check out my channel for the videos for the Breeders' Cup Winning You're In series. I'm going to be covering as many of those as possible. In July, they'll pick back up again, and I'll have some of those going on my channel, including more handicapping videos like this. And then I'll be starting my next 2023 Road to the Triple Crown in September when they start the points races again. So I'll be covering Breeders' Cup, Triple Crown, and everything in between. So keep checking out my channel and head on over to my website, and you can see all kinds of other information, free picks, handicapping recaps from Santa Anita Park and Del Mar, etc. So that will wrap up this video. Until I see you next time, good luck at the races.